Okay, hello and welcome back to part 3 of this series. In this video we're going to be doing a very few quick tests of our function to make sure that it was working correctly, and then, well, that'll be basically it, providing there are no errors, of course. So let's just create a new thumbnail. So create thumbnail, and for the first test we're going to be spelling thumbnail right and using our tall.png, and we're going to be passing in false, which means to have the image output directly. And let's just try 100, 100. And because we're outputting the image directly, well, actually let's just refresh first to see if there are any errors. And there are not, which is good, but as you can see we get a load of nonsense. So this is actually image data, as in what you'd get if you opened an image file in your text editor. So to tell the browser that this is an image, we just need to use the header function, so header. And we know that these are PNG images because we used image PNG, so we can just do content type image PNG. Hit F5 again, and you can see we get the same image but a lot smaller and with the top and bottom cropped off. I know it does look ever so slightly off center here, but if I just go back to our two images, you can see that these two lines, well, you can't see that, but these two lines are in the exact center of the image in both directions. As you can see, this butterfly is actually slightly to the right, which is annoying because this is an Apple wallpaper. You know, I didn't think they'd do that sort of thing. But anyway, and also these flowery things are quite a bit higher up than they look to be in the middle. So yeah, don't worry too much about that. But anyway, as you can see, it's basically worked. And as a test, what we can do is reduce the height that we want. So this one. So if we set this to 60, you should see the same amount of reduction top and bottom. So hit F5 and you can see that that has happened. And this actually makes it a bit clearer that it's not quite in the middle, but it doesn't matter. And we can try the same thing in the other direction. If we set this to 60 here, what should happen is that it should look the same as it did a moment ago, but smaller, which it does, so that's perfect. We can also make it bigger, so if we do 200, 200, not 2000, it will just be a lot bigger. And you can see it actually starts to look slightly more pixelated, and that's because these images, actually no, these images are 380, aren't they? It would look more pixelated. What I'm trying to say is that it would actually make the image bigger than it actually is, because it's just fixing the width to the width. So if you go a lot bigger than your source, it's going to look a bit dodgy. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's try out our wide image to make sure that our wider case is working. So let's go back to our code and change tall to wide, and we'll leave that at 200 actually. Hit F5 and you can see we get a feather right in the middle of the screen, which is good. And we can try the same trick we did a moment ago if we make this smaller. So if I make that I don't know, 160, we should see the same amount reduced or taken away from each side, which we do, so that's good. That means it's working. And to test the same size case, we'll need to input the exact aspect ratio of the images here. I happen to know that is 150 by 100. So if we press F5 again, you can see that we actually get the full image and it hasn't broken in any way. So that's good. That means it's all working. As a final test, let's check, or let's test, I'll go back to tall because I prefer it, and 200, 200 because it's big. Let's test the saving capability. So let's remove the header and let's add a file name as our second parameter instead of just false. So let's add, I don't know, small.png. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. F5 again, we get a blank page. I was going to add a var dump, I'll do that anyway, so we can see what this actually returns. So this should be returning true, which it is, which is good. And if we look in our folder, let's refresh the folder, you can see we have this new image called small. If I just open this up, you can see that it is indeed 200 by 200. So that is pretty much it. That's how to create a thumbnail function, or a flexible thumbnail function, using PHP. Like I said earlier, it's probably a good idea to check the format, or what type the extension I guess, check the extension of this second parameter and call the appropriate save function, instead of just saving everything as a PNG. But that's something I'll leave to you because it's a little bit boring. So yeah, that's enough of me. So thank you for watching, and that's it.